Hi, I'm Tito Beverage, founder and master distiller at Tito's Handmade Vodka. When I got into this business, I used to make flavored vodka infusions for my friends as gifts. When I started to make a go of it, the owner of a local liquor store showed me the dust on some flavored vodka bottles that sat on the shelves. He said, if you can make a straight vodka so smooth that you could drink it just by itself, then you'd really have something. So I did. And now all these years later, we still only make one flavor, vodka flavored vodka. 80 proof Tito's Handmade Vodka, distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. Tito'sVodka.com.
And let's get this posted on Twitter that we are live. And Steve Stockton, good to see you. We got about 1 minute here before we're going to go live. Reminder, a great way to support this show is through the Super Chat. And as well, you are, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button, ring that bell. Enjoy the show tonight. We thank all the veterans listening in, all of our regulars who are here nightly, and let's make this a great show tonight, everyone. Let's have some fun, let's rock and roll, and let's get into it because it is time for another great show of Spaced Out Radio right now. Oh, maybe not right now. How about in like 20 seconds? Oh, this thing plays games with me. Plays games with me sometimes. That's okay, though. I'll show you our guest. There he is, Andrew Saporito. There he is. Got a nice button-up shirt on tonight. He even shaved for this, people. He even shaved for tonight. That's what a kind of guy he is. Sweet Donnie C., good to see you. Here we go, everyone. The mountains of central British Columbia to you listening around the world. This, my friends, is Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. We welcome you to tonight's show on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on TalkStream Live, Revolution Radio, and KPNL. All of our archives are free by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. You can follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Tonight's show is brought to you by Chive Charities. Help make the world 10% happier by visiting Chive Charities today. You can find them on our website. Andrew Saporito claims that he's 39 years old going on 90. Anyone that has spent time knowing him and getting to know about all of his war injuries, as he was a Marine for 4 years, here's the creaking, the moans, and the groans coming from him. But he's very well traveled because of his time in the United States military. He got a taste for travel after being stationed in Japan with the Marines and hasn't stopped ever since. He's got a great website looking at all fringe topics like the holographic universe called forthewoke.com. That's the number 4, thewoke.com. His YouTube channel is called Boogeyman Channel, and we're glad to have him here because we're going to get into some weird, strange stuff with Andrew tonight. Andrew Saporito, welcome to Spaced Out Radio for the first time. How are you?
Thank you so much for having me, and I want to warn everyone, we are going to get weird tonight, baby. Oh, yes. When I'm around, yeah, but weird, not in the sense where it'll ever cause a rash or anything, but pretty weird. I hope everyone's good tonight. I'm feeling great. I am excited to be here, and thank you so much for having me.
Oh, very much so. Very much glad to have you here as well. Let's learn a little bit about you here for a little bit, because you're someone, you were a Marine for 4 years, so thank you so much for your service. Even though I'm in Canada, I still love the fact that, in North America here, we're all one great set of people over on this continent here. So thank you for taking the time to do that. For you, what got you intrigued with all the weird and strange fringe world that is out there?
You know, the weird thing is I never, ever chased that world. That world chased me somehow. So I don't want to start out this story with a sad note, but unfortunately, that's the way it starts out. My wife and I, we lost our child, okay? And when we did, we went through heavy depression, as you could probably imagine. And so when we went through this depression, I hated my job. I hated my life. I hated everything. I came home one day and I told the wife, I said, hey, I bought a telescope. I didn't know how to use one. I had never really even looked through one, to be perfectly honest. And she was like, okay, you bought a telescope. Great. Before it showed up, I asked the person that I had bought it from on Amazon. I said, hey, maybe you could suggest like, I don't know, a tripod or something for this thing, right? She tells me, I think you really need to read the description on what you bought because this thing is really big. It doesn't need a tripod. And so what I'm talking about is this big boy right here behind me. This is 6'2". Okay. It's 6'2". It's a Dobsonian. I thought at first it was about, in the pictures, I thought it was like, I don't know, 2 feet tall, maybe. I thought that, you were supposed to put it onto a little tripod. I thought all was well. Oh, when it showed up, man, let me tell you, it was a mind boggler. Well, it got us started looking at the heavens every night, okay? One, it fixed our depression. We spent time together. We got to talk again. We got to love one another again. We spent so much quality time. So not only did the story start out sad, it also started out happy, okay? Yes, we lost our son, but we gained each other. All right, now that part's over. Not going to try and pull a tear out of anybody the rest of the night. Now, what happened is we started to use this telescope every night, and I mean every night. We were looking at the moon mostly. We loved it. We could not get enough of the moon. 20. Let me see. We probably see the moon, 24 days out of the month, something like that. Half of it's in the daytime, the other half's at night. Every single solitary time the moon was out, we had the telescope out, and we were looking at that thing. So much to the point where we started to write a book about it. We started to realize, though, almost immediately that there was something wrong. We were looking at the universe in an entirely different way. We were catching things on a consistent basis that science was telling us didn't exist. That science was telling us it couldn't be. That what you're talking about is just, that's a lie. You're hallucinating. You're stupid. You didn't see it. You're dumb. You're retarded. Don't talk to me anymore. And these are the kind of responses we were getting from normal people. And you're like, wow, okay, well, it was just a picture. You didn't have to call me a name, Well, that's who you deal with in this world. So soon you start to come not strong. You don't come back at them very strong, but you start to toughen up really quick. Your skin gets really thick, and you start to find ways to address these sort of situations, this name calling, this whatever you want to call it. We started to really face these things, head on. And when we did, we started to gain not only the trust of people, but they started to look at us as almost like scientists, because we started to teach them more than they were learning in school, and they were learning from anything else. Before I knew it, I had 6 more telescopes in about a year's time. I couldn't buy enough of the things.
Sounds like me with guitars.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say that. I'm looking in the back wall of your behind you, and that's how my telescope room looks, my observatory. I couldn't buy enough cameras. I couldn't buy enough lenses, filters, telescopes, eyepieces, you name it. I went crazy. And my wife was like, at first was hating me for it until it started to bring us together. We fell back in love like it was the first time we had ever met. And she's the one that thinks with a level head. I'm the dreamer. I'm the like, whoa, it's got to be like this. I wasn't really good at double checking things. I wasn't really good at fact checking, right? So she was. And every time I would come to her with something strange, she would be the stone, the rock. And the rock would then be the fact checker, right? And so she would go out there and she'd be like, okay, well, she had all of these steps that she would take in order to find out if, well, was this real? Did this really happen? Or are you just crazy? And most of the time, it passed her test. But don't get me wrong, there were a lot of times it did not pass her test, which is good because I'd always run things by her before I ran them by YouTube or, say Instagram or Twitter or even other family members, friends, or neighbors. Sorry about my voice today. But I started to get into this really strong, and I started to realize our world was running more mechanically than it was naturally. I noticed things like holographic. This is gonna sound weird, but
go for it, man. We like the woo.
All right, here we go. Sun simulators. All right. Now, not all of the suns are sun simulators. Oh, by the way, there's more than one sun, guys. Okay, and I can prove it. But one of those suns that you will see once every 12 days, okay, once you find the one it is, and I can show you how to do it, once you find that one sun simulator, you will find that sun simulator, you'll see it once every 12 days. And when you bust out your telescope and you start looking at it, oh yeah, baby, you're about to see some really cool stuff. And we're talking about biblical characters that, were talked about in the Bible that are still alive today, guys. And, they're working. They're almost like the engineers of our constructs of this realm. The Book of Enoch, if you will. Okay, I don't know if there's anyone out there that's read the Book of Enoch, but the Book of Enoch explains it best. When I have a question, something I spot something that I just don't understand or I can't explain, I look at the Book of Enoch, and it seems to always have the answer there. And it's very strange to me. Until it was always strange. Every time I checked, it was strange. Now, I'm so tainted, nothing is strange. And I hate to say it, but there's things up there that I can't explain, that I could draw them for you. I've got pictures of them. I've got HD video of them. I don't know what they're for. I've seen them a million times. I'm struggling right now with, is the moon a hologram or is it an actual physical object? All right. That's one of my biggest struggles right now. I can't finish this book that I've been working on for 5 years now because I can't end the book telling the reader, is the moon a physical object or is it a hologram? And I would feel bad putting out a book that has that big of a hole in it. You know what I mean?
Well, let me stop you there for a quick second because, you're not a scientist. You're somebody who is an amateur astronomer who really fell in love with this because it made some incredible time for you and your wife after a horrific tragedy. And, from all of us Spaced Out Radio listeners, we send you love and grace for that, okay? And and so I could see your passion and desire in this. How much did you study up on current astronomy before you started finding your own way, so to speak, and that what you were reading in books wasn't adding up to what you were seeing?
Okay. All right. In school, I'm going to take you back to elementary school. Elementary school, 0. Middle school, 0. High school, 0. College, 0. Then I started to get into NASA, and then I was in NASA deep. I was real deep. I was addicted to them. I watched their channel every single solitary day. The ISS live feeds. I was watching the Challengers, the Challenger explosion. I was watching every spacewalk. My brother and I, we both had star maps that we would study constantly together. It was something that he and I really got into. But we got into it in our later years, I would say in our 20s, right? And I hit it really hard. But then I found very easily that everything, and I mean everything, that NASA put out is a lie. Not one thing seems to be real that they put out. Now let me just say something before I get yelled at on that one. Everyone who works at NASA is doing their job. They're hired to do a job, and they're doing that job, and they're the best at doing that job. But there are a select few people at NASA, I think, that know the whole picture. They know it all. When NASA was first started, it was started by and for 2 Nazis. I can't remember the first one, but the second one was Werner von Braun, okay? I'm not sure if a lot of people remember Werner von Braun. This was right around what's called Project Paperclip. Project Paperclip was a project to bring all of the Nazi scientists from World War II over to America, give them new lives, give them legitimate papers, and use them for their technology, for their knowledge, and for whatever else we can use them for. Well, Werner von Braun, we basically gave him NASA, basically. And then along with that, Disney helped to make all of these propaganda films. They helped them to make them look like, hey, forget all of that Nazi stuff. Don't worry about the Nazi stuff. Forget about all the war crimes. Let's concentrate on space. Now, there are multiple, and I mean multiple, papers that you can find to this day that show that Werner von Braun was so close to Hitler that he could write him personal letters asking for more slaves because the last ones died. He's like, and straight up and down, he would say like, dearest Hitler, I need more Jews. I killed the last ones by accident. Sorry about that. And I don't know if that's getting too political.
It is a little bit. We'll bring it back down a little bit.
Okay. I'm sorry. But what I'm getting at is that NASA was started on very weird scenarios. Okay, I'll just keep it at that. Very weird scenarios. And it turned me off. And so I started to take NASA out of the equation once I realized they were our only source for information out there. And when I started to realize that when I looked through a telescope and I looked at something like Jupiter and it looked nothing, and I mean nothing, like what NASA was showing us, then I really knew something was wrong. And then when I'm looking at the moon and I'm realizing that it's got crafts up there and it's got buildings up there and it's got entities that are not moving, they're just stuck in place. I knew something wasn't right. I mean, I've caught UFOs. Don't get me wrong. I've got 10 million UFO videos. I'm not even worried about UFOs anymore. I'm not even interested in them at this point. What I am interested in is, why are there entities on the moon? And I have caught hundreds of them, but none of them are moving. They're literally stuck in space. They're stuck, just like almost like they're walking, but they're not moving. And I started to ask myself, why does nothing move in space? Or no, I'm sorry, not in space, but nothing moves on the moon. Why is it that I've caught all these things, but none of them are in motion? And so I kind of did this, benefit of the doubt thing. Maybe we're looking at another dimension, okay? And maybe in that dimension, their time is not synced with ours. And so I was like, okay, I can live with that. But then the next day, I look at the moon, the same area of it, and all of it is gone. The entities that were, in motion but not actually moving, they were gone. The crafts, the structures, you name it. All of the stuff that I recorded just hours before, 24 hours before, now all of it's gone. It's all gone. And it's replaced with mountains, new structures, different crafts, different entities, and none of them still not moving.
You're floating on a creamy peanut butter river in a chocolate raft. Is this paradise? This is what biting into a Think creamy peanut butter high protein bar feels like. Fuel your life, power your body. Think. Stand for strong.
Got an occasion that's worth celebrating? Well, nothing says celebration like flowers from ProFlowers. Surprise your special someone with brilliant bouquets starting at just $19.99 plus shipping and handling. Yes, top quality, fresh from the farm blooms that are perfect for any and all occasions are only $19.99 for a limited time at proflowers.com. Don't wait till the last minute to send that anniversary or birthday surprise. Shop proflowers.com and make their day with a bright bouquet. See website for details.
All of them still stranger than the next, and I just don't get it. And so for 5 years I was working on this moon book. And the more I work on it and the more I learn about the moon, the more I keep throwing the book away and starting over. And it's making me very angry. And so one day, I swear I'm going to finish this book, but I'm not going to finish it until I'm 110 million% positive that what I'm seeing, that I'm understanding what I'm seeing. Because right now, I'm not understanding a lot of what I'm seeing when I'm looking at that moon. And, there's a really famous physicist from back in the 1950s. I cannot remember his name right now, but he was the first person to come up with the idea that the moon was made of plasma, right? They really shut him down. No one's ever heard of his name. His name didn't get carried on. His funding got pulled. You name it. All sorts of bad things happened to this poor guy. Just because he said, word for word, the moon is not a place you can land on. And he said this right before they were about to go land on the moon. He said, you can't land on it because it's made of plasma, and that's that. And the interview was over. But not only the interview was over, his career was over, okay? And all of these things are just so strange to me. It's like if someone has, an idea, a theory, a thought, even a premonition, whatever you want to call it, that goes against modern science, modern physics, their career's over. It's done. It's, I mean, a guy like me, if you go and look at my YouTube channel, if you go and look at my website, you are going to see things that you are not going to believe. You're not going to think that it's possible. You're going to know it's real. You're going to really know that I actually recorded it because I'm a really bad photographer. Okay?
On that note, I'm loving you so far, man. I'm loving you so far. And on that note, though, Andrew, I'm going to get you to hold on right there because we are going to go to break here at the bottom of the hour. We're going to debate the moon. Is it plasma? Is it cheese? Did we land on the moon? We're going to figure this out. Andrew Saporito is our guest tonight. The Boogeyman channel on YouTube, as well as his website, forthewoke.com. The number 4thewoke.com. You guys stay tuned. Spaced Out Radio continues right after this. All right, we're clear.
Do I got a few minutes to use the bathroom?
Yep, we got a few minutes here. We got 5 minutes.
Okay, perfect. Be right back.
All right, not a problem. Entertaining. Lynn Wallington. Lynn effing Wallington right there. Oh, the forest fire smoke is getting to me today. They've been doing backburns here for the last few days. And it's made everything real smoky. But apparently it's got to be done so that way we don't burn down. Burning down kind of sucks. The gorgeous Beverly Holmes, how are you? Who else am I missing? There's our lady, Lynn Wallington. Saturday, Sunday host extraordinaire. She puts her pants on one leg at a time, people. One leg at a time. All depends what you want to say there, Mennonite Abe. Let's see here. Yes, I am safe there, Kat. Thank you. And, yeah. Lovely Sherry, how are you? Oh, there is no way, Lynn, that you're going two legs at once. You're not one of those people who sits on the side of the bed and puts both feet in the legs and then pulls the pants up at once. No way. You're one leg at a time person right there. Don't even mess with me on that one. Hey, Fapster, what's going on? Gorgeous Jessica McCreary is here. Where's Dave effin' Hurley? We need a Dave effin' Hurley sighting. Thank you, Patrick, for the compliment on my nice shirt after I got absolutely terrorized yesterday by Fap and Company. I like this shirt.
I don't think people understand how difficult it is to pick a shirt when you know you're going to be live on air.
It's true.
I went through 15 of them, and I still hate the one I'm in.
Oh. you gotta be like Brittany and make a wardrobe change every half an hour.
Every half an hour. That's it. Now, I'm going to start getting into wigs too. I think I'd look good with a pink haired, maybe a fro, something like that. I don't know.
Absolutely. I would agree with this. I would agree with that. I don't have a wig on. I just I have no male pattern baldness whatsoever.
None.
No.
I was just gonna say that. Like I think you're older than me, but your hairline is much younger than mine.
I got a beautiful hairline. I'm not gonna lie.
Beautiful. Oh, like I'm maimed like a lion.
If you were here, I'd let you touch it. I would.
Oh, gee, I was just about to ask that.
Oh,
I
yeah.
know.
No,
You're reading
totally.
my mind.
I would totally do that. Totally do that. Diecast and Racing, welcome to Spaced Out Radio's chat room. How are you? The gorgeous and talented Sherry Lynn, welcome to our channel. Dry Toast, the best name on YouTube right there. Dry Toast. Isn't that fantastic?
That is.
Hi, Sandra. Hi, Sandra. Hi, Sandra. Show it.
And hi, Bobby Younce for and Philip Baca. Sorry, it looked like I got two personal hellos, so I just had to give them back.
Oh, for sure. That
Thank
works
you.
for me.
Raina Jennings, my baby, she's here. Oh, thank you so much for joining us.
Your wife's in here somewhere, too.
She better be.
I saw her.
Beck, are you in there? Well, I know she's in the other room at least.
Aussie Rob, that's good SOR ham hock right there. Good SOR ham hock down in Australia. Appreciate that. There she is. She says, I am right here. I am right here.
There she is. All right. Thank you for the support, my dear.
Uh-huh. Cat the Kit, how you doing, gorgeous? And we got about 30 seconds. Big thank you to Andrew, to Backspin in Sweden, Joshua, YJ, and
Sherry Lynn. Love you.
Michael, Jennifer, and Kat from earlier for the amazing super chats. It's a great way to support what we do on this show. Hello, my brother Eugene. How you doing? And don't forget, if you're brand new here, hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, and we're going to get going here in about 5 seconds. So sit back, relax, sit tight. We're going to the moon next on Spaced Out Radio. First half hour's down. Here comes second half hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. We really do appreciate earning your listening ears wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. Want to remind you that if you miss portions of this show or others, check out our free archives by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram, Spaced Out Radio Show. Is the moon hollow? Is it a hologram? Is it made of cheese? Have we been there before? That is the great debate we are going to have right now. The Man from the Boogeyman channel on YouTube and forthewoke.com. The number 4thewoke.com. Andrew Saporito is our guest tonight. Andrew, welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Glad you're here.
As you asked that, it reminded me of something. So I have amazing captures of the moon and things that transit the moon. These transits, these captures that I have, every time I get one, it sends my thought process of the moon into a different direction. Excuse me. The first amazing capture that my wife and I caught, you're not even going to believe this, but it was a star balloon, a star-shaped balloon, and it was dragging another star-shaped balloon. And it left a shadow on the face of the moon. And we were like, whoa, 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 whoa. And this was well before we were thinking anything weird. We weren't thinking holographic universe. We weren't thinking the moon was fake. We weren't thinking anything bad about NASA. We were just two people, normal people in the backyard looking through a telescope. That's all we were. When we got that capture, first off, to this day, it's still one of the most amazing captures we've ever gotten. And so it is a Mylar star balloon. It gently floated right across the lunar surface. And it took us a long time to realize, oh my God, that thing there's two of them. They're tethered together, and they're creating a shadow on the moon. And we're like, oh my God, like, what does that mean? What could that possibly mean? That either means one or a few things. That either means somebody is making some really good Mylar party balloons, so good that they made it the whole way to the moon. Or two, the moon is really close. Or three, somebody's faking the stars. Okay? I'm sure there's probably some more, but those are just the ones I can think of for right now. Let's talk about those three things, though. So I started to think about these things. This is what sent me down the road of the holographic universe, okay? The first thing I started to do was I started to look at the stars in a different way, okay? Now, you're told that when you look through a telescope at a star, that you're supposed to focus it in a weird way. I call it weird because you're supposed to focus it so that the star has legs of light coming out from every single solitary side of the star. Now, let's say I take a picture of you, okay?
Sure.
And you're standing beside a lamp. Now, would I focus my camera so that lamp that's beside you looks the same way as a star would? No way. Not. Definitely not. It would look ridiculous. It would be like, first off, you'd be like, why are you focusing your telescope to make that star look like that? That's not, in my opinion, that's not the way you focus you focus your telescope. So I started to focus my telescope in the way I thought it should be focused. And when I did, I started to find that there is an elaborate, very high technical lensing system out there. There are lenses, these strange, weird lenses and parabolic mirrors all over the universe. They are everywhere. Some of them are clear. Some of them are just mirrored finished. Some of them are colored blue to make the star blue. Some of them are like frosted to make the star look white. They could be in any single solitary color. Some of them are broken and chipped. Some of them are split in half. Some of them just are like almost non-existent anymore. And so I'm looking at these things, and if you don't believe me, when you go and you look at my channel, do yourself a favor and go to Google Sky. Go to a place called not Alibaba, just go to any Sky Survey website and look for yourself. Look at any star on a Sky Survey website, and you will see Aladdin Light. Sorry, that's what I was trying to say. My favorite Sky Survey website is called Aladdin Light. All right. And when you go on these Sky Survey websites, you'll look at a star and you'll realize there is literally a lens in front of every single solitary star in the universe. And the way you can prove it to yourself is that you can zoom in on it and you can see that around the edges of these lenses are cracks. There's actual missing pieces. Some of them have handprints on them. I mean, it's really that trippy. And you're like,
are you sure that isn't your own lens?
No. I'm talking about websites. You can go to other people's websites and see this stuff. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. If you don't believe me, go to a place like Aladdin Light or Google Sky or any sky survey website, and you'll see these same lenses in the sky in front of stars, and you'll see that they're cracked. You'll see that they're broken in half. You'll see them for yourself. It isn't just me seeing them. The weird thing is, though, they don't edit them out of these sky surveys. And the reason is because they're not going to lie to you, but they're also not going to chase you down to give you the truth. Does that make sense? So, like, there used to be books out, I don't know what to call them. Let's say, actually, I think they were encyclopedias. There were encyclopedias that just as far back as like the 1970s that said if you went down to Antarctica, that there was an actual glass dome over top of the entire world. And this was just back in the 1970s. I think it was Encyclopedia Britannica, 1970s. It said the world was flat and that you could go to Antarctica and see a glass dome. And I'm like, what? Now, this is no longer in circulation. It's not something I own, but it's something you can still look up online. I believe the year was 1954 or 1974. I cannot remember which one. But it's strange. It's one of those truths that are out there that they're not going to chase you down to give to you. If you want to see one right now, do yourself a favor and search out Van Allen probes spot man-made structure shrouding Earth. Okay? That's the exact name of it. You'll see it on the NASA website. It's called Van Allen probes spot man-made structure shrouding Earth. And in it is a white paper that you'll see on NASA. You'll see it on Harvard. You'll see it on all these educational websites. You'll see them on everywhere, on physics.org, you name it. White papers, patents. It's ridiculous. There's like probably 50 plus websites that have this same story on it. And in it, the story literally says that inside of the Van Allen radiation belt, there is a man-made bubble that is indestructible, and it is shrouding Earth, meaning it goes the entire whole way around. And this is on Harvard. It's on NASA. And if you look at
it's also on every flat Earth website too.
Oh yeah, it probably is. It was probably one of the, but it's mind-blowing to me that it's on NASA and why it's not like the biggest. It basically said in one blog that we can't go past the Van Allen radiation belt. And they basically said it. And you're like, I don't get it. So are you telling me that the moon is inside the Van Allen radiation belts? Or are you just telling us that entire story that we've heard since the 1960s are all lies? Which one is it? I mean, it is so confusing. So all you can trust these days, guys, is yourself and your senses, your eyes, your ears, your senses of smell.
Okay, so I'm going to interrupt there because I want to ask you a couple questions, if you don't mind. And do you believe, then, that the Apollo missions went to the moon?
I did at first. Yes, I really did believe they went. But I have a picture of the moon so clear that you can see that you can actually see that there's no flags, there's no lunar module landing spots, there's no crater, blast crater.
Things I thought could never happen Me in a punk band?
What?
We Are Lady Parts, a new original comedy streaming only on Peacock.
A confused mix of hash anthems and sour girl power. Syra, vocals. Aisha, drummer. Bisma, bassist. Mumtaz, band manager. And me, Amina, lead guitar.
You were really good until you puked all over the front row. Ew.
We Are Lady Parts, all episodes streaming now. Only on Peacock.
90 Day is going tropical on the new Discovery Plus original series, Love in Paradise, the Caribbean. It's a vacation love story where sun, surf, and seduction collide. 4 Americans are traveling back to the exotic islands where they hope their sexy romances can turn into forever. Love in Paradise, the Caribbean, a 90-day story. Streaming now only on Discovery Plus. Start your free trial. Terms apply.
There's nothing. What's up there? You've got to see this. I stacked 1,000. Are you familiar with stacking images? Do you know what that is?
Yes, I know what that is.
Okay. Well, just for the listeners, when you stack images, what you do is you take a bunch of images and you feed it into the computer, and the computer finds the clear areas of each picture, and it throws away all of the blurry stuff, right? And so you can give it thousands of images, or you can give it 5 images, and it's going to find all the clear and good stuff, the crystal clear stuff, and it's going to discard all the blurry stuff and all the stuff that just looks bad. Well, I shot over 1,000 raw images of the moon. This took me 3 years. This was a long project. And so I shot over 1,000 images of the moon, all in RAW. I personally threw away all of the blurry ones, and I only fed the stacking program the clear images. Well, it came back to me beautiful and crystal clear. So clear, there wasn't any more mystery left on the moon. You could zoom in so far that you literally could see that there were mannequins on the moon. Mannequins. I don't get it. I don't understand it. It doesn't make any sense. But they have the moon set up just like, it's almost like a paintball course. It's the weirdest thing. It's almost set up like a paintball course. It's got mannequins up there. It has roads, vehicles. You could count at least 15 cars. There's a humongous statue of it's from behind, but he's got his arms out, and he resembles the Jesus Christ statue in Rio de Janeiro. You know that statue, the one where it's standing out, and he's got his arms out? It's a statue like that that's fallen forward, okay? That statue's up there. But unfortunately, it's, obviously it's not Jesus Christ, and I don't even think it's that religious. But the head on it is missing and has fallen off. There's another part to it is a hat that has also been knocked off. There used to be an old firmament around it. Are you aware of the firmament?
Of the moon?
Yes. The moon has a firmament, or it used to at least. It's very broken up, but it used to be there. It's still there in parts, but it's very busted up. But yes, it does have a firmament. If you shoot on certain days, certain times, using certain filters, polarizing filters, you can actually get shines on it. You can see everything. These images that I worked so hard to get, unfortunately, I love them, but I love them so much that I hate them because they have now taken all the mystery away from the moon. Like the last question I have about the moon now is it made of plasma? Or is it a 3D hologram? That's the last questions I have of it. Everything else I already know. But when I used to think that NASA landed on the moon, the reason why I thought they landed on the moon was because of a special structure that's on the moon. You can see it every time. I call it the gondola. And what it looks like is this humongous gear, and I mean humongous gear. And basically what it is, it looks like, have you been to a ski resort?
Yes.
All right. So you got your skis on and the, you're in line and they say, okay, go stand over there real quick and the seat's coming around and you sit down into it. That's what it looks like. I don't know what that's called, a ski lift, I guess. But I call it the gondola. Yeah, chairlift, ski lift, yeah, something like that. That thing is still up there. I've never seen it move. I've never seen it being used, but it is always there. That is one of the only structures on the moon that will always consistently be there. Another one is NASA calls it Mare Serenity. Okay, they think it's an old lake bed, but I can clearly see that it's a mountaintop base. You can see that there's doorways that lead right into it. There's doorways that lead out of it. It looks like an old mining operation, and they talk a lot about helium-3 that they've been trying to, that supposedly the moon has a lot of helium-3. I'm not sure if that's true or not, but I know what I see looks like a mining operation. You know what I mean?
Okay, so why do you think that major astronomy and astronomers have not seen this evidence and reported on it, considering that that's kind of a scientist's job?
Because they're going to sound crazy just like I do right now. Okay? Now, there's not a person in this chat room right now that's going to believe me at every word. You know what I mean? They're going to want to go double check. That's exactly how this works every time. They call me crazy. Then they go look at my videos. They find out, oh my God, this guy's not joking. And that's when they start to see me in a different light. Unfortunately, they start to see me as more like a god, and they put me on a pedestal, and I don't like that part. Okay? I'm just a dude, okay, that makes videos on YouTube. You're right. I'm not a scientist. I'm just a guy that gives up his time to look at the moon a lot. All right? I give up my time to spend the time with my wife. We look at the moon. We record. I make videos. I'm no God. I am, people look at me like I have the answers to the world. I can't even balance my own checkbook, okay? So don't think that. But I know how this works. People hear me talk. They think I'm crazy. Then they go look at my videos. They realize I'm far from that and that I can prove it. And that's when they're running back to me like, hold up, dude. I didn't realize this, but I'm really sorry. I didn't believe you at first, but now I totally believe you, and I need to talk to you about everything, And unfortunately, I don't know everything, okay? So when you become that person, everyone, please just take it easy on me, okay? Don't come back and ask me about marriage, because I'm no good at that either.
So we have 2.5 minutes before we have to go to break at the top of the hour. Andrew Saporito is our guest tonight. So with the moon, if you don't believe that Apollo went there, we're going to disagree on that one, because I think when you have astronauts like the late Edgar Mitchell, Dr. Edgar Mitchell, who believes that most Apollo rockets were followed by UFOs and there were ETs up on the moon, I think I give him a lot of credence for what he had said on that, but that's a different debate. With the moon now, with you said the broken firmament, do you think at one point the moon had its own atmosphere and was able to have water, grow food, have nutrients in the soils and everything.
It still does. There is more than, okay, I think there's 12 moons in total. So I should have started out by telling you which moon are you asking about. But here's the thing. The atmosphere is still there. I have videos of people up there with no mask on, no spacesuit, and they're just working on a UFO. So I know there's breathable oxygen up there at least. Now, if those people are dummies or mannequins, I couldn't tell you. But I will tell you, I have at least video evidence that there are people up there with no mask, with no suit. So, and I have trees up there, large trees, pictures of trees, running water. So yes, it has everything that the Earth would have. But again, it's there one day, it's not there the next. So that's why I have the issues about it. You know what I mean? Like, I have a lot of issues about the moon. One day I've got all this evidence of it. The next day I can't find it again, you know? And I'm, again, not dogging Edgar Mitchell. I'm definitely not dogging old Buzz Lightyear. Everyone who goes to NASA does their job and they do it well. But there is a small collection of people that, I think they're in charge of the lies. You know, they're in charge of the propaganda, and they make it very difficult to figure everything out. And I think that's what their job is. You know, I don't know. It drives me crazy.
Well, on that note, when we come back from the break here at the top of the hour, that was a quick first hour. We're going to get into 12 moons. 12 moons. Andrew Saporito, the Boogeyman channel on YouTube. ForTheWoke.com is his website. I only ever see one moon. Sometimes two if I catch myself in the mirror. We'll be back on Spaced Out Radio right after this. Not gonna lie, you got me curious, man. You got me curious now.
I thought this was going to be a show that I was going to be able to show some video, and I'm sorry I had it all wrong.
That's all right.
I really want. I should make a. I'm going to have my wife write down a few videos, some important ones that people should check out when they go. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm gonna run my dogs out quickly. I apologize.
Okay,
so I'm just going to mute you down here. I apologize because I can hear him scratching at the door. Hold on here. I'll be right back. All right. We've got about 1 minute here. 1 minute. Hi, Night Gazer. How are you? Good to see you. Hi, Eva. Eva. The lovely and talented Preston Beckett has returned. Who else we got here? That's all they see that's new. All right, big thank you to T-Burger, to Jeremy, to Ozzy, Steve, Andrew, Backspin, Joshua, YJ, Michael, Jennifer, and Kat for the super chats tonight. Yes, we are opening up questions here in hour 2, 509er. Good to see you. Thanks for coming on in, and we really appreciate the support. Thank you to all of our new subscribers who have tuned on in and hit that subscribe button. We really appreciate that. Here we go with the second hour coming up right now.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott. Follow Dave on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Facebook, Spaced Out Radio Show.
Here we go with hour number 2 of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. We really do appreciate earning your listening ears wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. Thank you to everyone tuning in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America and digitally on TalkStream Live, Revolution Radio, and KPNL. All of our archives are free by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Macarodont. Macarodont is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets a password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website, spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram, Spaced Out Radio Show. From the Boogeyman channel on YouTube and forthewoke.com, we have Andrew Saporito here on Spaced Out Radio tonight. What's with the moon? What's happening there? Do we have more than one moon circling our beautiful planet Earth? Let's check it on out. Andrew, welcome back. We'll get you to turn your mic up because your mic is on mute or something like that. Where did your mic go?
Here we go. Can you hear me?
There we go.
All right.
There we go.
All right. Okay, so I want to step back a little bit because there's a few things I forgot to mention. All right. One of them, all right. So there are multiple moons, just like there are multiple suns. These things were talked about in the Book of Enoch. All right. Now, how many? I don't know. But if you take pictures of moons, do like I did, take pictures from the same area of your backyard or wherever you take photos from of the moon every month. Take those photos with the same type of camera, with the same lens, and at the same focal point and depth, okay? When you do, try to get at least 20 good shots, all right? When you get a nice collection of photos of those moons, then take them one by one, mess with the opacity, and try to fit them on top of each other. Then try to match up the craters and any other structure or landmark that you can see, and you will find very quickly those moons do not match up. The pictures, you cannot get them to match up. You will not find any photo that you've taken and tried to put on top of each other. They won't match up. That is what's given me the thought, the idea, the theory, which I now feel is fact, that there are multiple moons, okay? Now, earlier you asked me if I thought NASA made it to the moon. Now, I told you about
Got an occasion that's worth a celebration? Well, nothing says celebration like flowers from ProFlowers. Surprise your special someone with brilliant bouquets starting at just $19.99 plus shipping and handling from proflowers.com. See website for details. Got an occasion that's worth a celebration? Well, nothing says celebration like flowers from ProFlowers. Surprise your special someone with brilliant bouquets starting at just $19.99 plus shipping and handling from proflowers.com. See website for details.
Story that's on their blog. It's called The Van Allen Probes Spot a Man-Made Structure Shrouding Earth, or somewhere along those lines. Now, in that blog, it basically says that there's an impenetrable barrier in between us and the Van Allen radiation belts, meaning it cannot be passed through, impenetrable. Now, it says it happened because of what's called, VLFs, very low frequencies. Now, VLFs are made through radio waves, cell phone usage, internet, you name it, things of that nature. They say that we use so much VLF that it's created an impenetrable barrier, and it's the whole way around in our universe, and we're not able to go through it. Now, they're either admitting that they can't make it to the moon, or they're admitting that the moon is within, it's closer and smaller than we thought, okay? Now, I want to talk about prosumer and even amateur grade telescopes and optics, okay? I have some really big telescopes. And as you can see in the back, I have some really big lenses, all right? Now, no matter how big my lens is, and no matter how big my telescope is, I personally have a real problem believing that I personally can look through a lens and see from Earth, looking out into the heavens, and I can see 240,000 miles away with it. I mean, just think about that for a second, okay? The moon is 240,000 miles away, okay? Now, the farthest picture that's ever been taken with a professional grade camera here on Earth through the same atmosphere, you would be taking the same picture. If you took it, on the moon, or if you took it here on Earth, it'd be the same atmosphere. The longest picture ever taken was 260 miles away. And it was of a mountain. It was so blurry, I couldn't tell you. It could have been Oprah for all I know.
But a mountain isn't the size of the moon.
No, it's not correct. But what I'm saying is that I have a problem personally thinking that no matter how big or bright something is, you're not going to be able to that I don't think my telescope can see hundreds, thousands, millions, billions, trillions, or light years away. But somehow I can take a picture of the sun, which is 82 billion miles away, or I can take a picture of the Andromeda Galaxy, which is, I don't know. I actually don't know how far that is. Jupiter is something like 500 million miles away. And those things are not light sources. Those things just have light bouncing off of them, supposedly. And they're not even, like, when you take something of like Jupiter is a gas giant, okay? So we're not even looking at an actual physical body. We're looking at storm clouds. That's the story that we're getting, okay? Same problem with Saturn, right? Saturn is smaller, but further away. And somehow we can still get pictures of that with consumer-grade cameras. There's a camera called the P900. It's called the Nikon Coolpix P900. It is not a very expensive camera. Somehow, though, it can take pictures crystal clear of Jupiter. It can take crystal clear photos of Saturn. How is this possible? Things that don't create their own light source. It's not a light. It's just a rock floating in space. It just, in my opinion, it's very difficult for me to think that those things are really that far away.
All right.
You know?
Let's get to some audience questions here because we do have some scientists who listen to this show. Uncle Dale, who's a scientist, and his mustache, who's also got a BA or a BS, all right, says, if the moon is not physical, what causes the tides?
Wind. That's an easy one. And if you think the moon is what makes the tides, sorry, Chief. I don't know what school you went to. Sorry. I own a boat, all right? And I take my boat out when the moon's out, and I'm fine. But I don't take my boat out when it's windy. Plain and simple.
All right. Spanish Fly is asking, has any ex-space employee or high-profile scientist got a hold of you to share any information?
I got... Yes. I've gotten a few leaked documents that were pretty cool. One of them was of a base behind the sun simulator. So it was not only the sun simulator, but it even told us that there was a base behind it. It was pretty cool. And I can share that with you guys at any time if you want to see it. I'll have to do you know what? I'll have to do some sort of redo of this show. I'll mirror it on my channel, and then everything we talked about, I'll stop and I'll put the answers or the information in where I was talking about it or where you guys were asking me about it. Maybe that'll work. We'll try something. I'll figure it out.
All right. Well, while we're waiting, let's go to Vinny's question here. Have you ever caught a lunar wave?
I personally have not. Originally, yes. Crow 777 was the first person to catch it. There are other people that have caught it. I don't know what it tells us, though. In my opinion, it tells us that the moon is more of a hologram than it is a physical object. I would go with that. But stars do the same thing every day. I mean, if you zoom into a star, they do lunar waves. That's just what they do. So I believe it has something to do with the medium of space, which space could be, it's the ether. It's the plasma streams. I mean, we are looking at some sort of, water, maybe, ether, and ether is something that has been proven. And then they used someone like Albert Einstein in order to erase the idea, There's a lot of good white papers out there you can look at. They're called the Michelson-Morley experiment, the Michelson-Gale experiment. You can also look at Sagnac effect, the Sagnac experiment. You can also look at Airy's failure. I mean, there's a whole slew of scientific papers to look at that physicists have never heard of. I mean, they've been closed down and hidden for years. And it's just a sad ordeal. Sorry. So what do I think of it? I think we're looking at some sort of liquid medium. That's what I think we're looking at. Sorry.
All right. Science Melinda is asking, when photo stacking, are you making allowances for star rotation over time?
When photo stacking, are you making allowances for star rotation over time? I'm not sure I understand that one. When photo stacking, are you making?
Well, the universe is always moving. So are you are you calculating the movement of the universe around? So that would mean that stars are moving, they are rotating. So when you're stacking your photos, that means they will change their position.
That doesn't play. It doesn't actually have an effect because I use I use a computer. I put my camera or my telescope. It moves with the stars. I'm not sure what the exact speed is, but all you do is you put it, you fix it to the Ron deck, which is the RAS, the right ascension, and the declination. You pick where you want to shoot in the area, and the computer does the rest. It literally follows the entire star cluster you're trying to take a shot of. So as far as rotation, it doesn't play any part in what we're doing when it comes to stacking. But if you did it, like if I didn't have a computerized mount, it would literally just be lines, and that's covered in Aries failure. That shows that it's the stars are moving and we aren't. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. But that's a cool question. But yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
All right. Mennonite Abe is asking, can you explain then who places the lenses and bases in outer space?
I believe that this is original source technology. Okay. I believe that this is older than the planet itself. Okay. I believe the Elohim, the Yahwehs, you name it, the seraphim, the oraphim, the cherubim. There's so many ranks of angels out there. And I believe in the Bible. I believe in the information and the technology they talk about in the book of Enoch and the Bible and all the books left out of the Bible for some unknown reason. I don't read it for a religious standpoint. I read it for answers on other things. Like, what the heck was that I just took a picture of? You know what I mean? And I find it. I find those answers in some of those books most of the time. Not all the time, but most of the time. All right? I hope that answered.
All right, let's move on to a different question here.
Yeah.
This one comes from Vinny. Does the moon give off its own light?
That's a tough one, man, because I see shadows on the moon. If you want to see a really cool video, on our channel, just look up moonbirds, okay? There are people that send us videos, okay? And for some reason, on 1 month, 5 different people caught birds on the moon at the same time, but they weren't the same birds and they weren't shooting from the same state, but they all caught these moonbirds at the same time. At the same time they caught them, I caught them. So we were calling it Attack of the Moonbirds. It's a pretty funny video, but realistically, you can literally see these birds leaving shadows on the moon. So in a way, I guess it could give off light because, like I said, there's a firmament on it. There's parts of a firmament, and you can see through some of the parts of the firmament to another area of the lunar surface. And that lunar surface seems to be lit up a little bit. So in a way, yeah, I definitely think that there is some sort of light that it gives off, but I think it only gives it off on the actual lunar surface and not on the firmament itself. I don't know if that made any sense. I'm sorry.
So the sun isn't giving the moon its own light with reflection?
I know it isn't. There's a filter you can get called an IR UV cut filter. Okay, IR for infrared, UV for ultraviolet, and cut meaning cutting both of those light spectrums out of the equation. So you can use an IR a UV IR cut filter, and you can see that the moon is still lit up even though you've cut out those two light spectrums. So whatever the moon's light is using, you can see for yourself that it's not infrared, it's not ultraviolet. And here's something even weirder. On the next full moon, get yourself a laser thermometer, okay, an infrared laser thermometer, and take the temperature of the moon's shadow versus the moon's light that's left on the ground. And you will find that the moon's light is actually colder than the moon's shadow. It's really trippy. And it's a really cool experiment. I did it myself. I didn't think of it myself, but I did see it on YouTube and I tried it, and it really works. The moon's light is something weird. I don't know what it is. I don't know why, but it's actually colder than the shadow it gives. And that makes no sense. Not in our physics, not in our world. And I hope that made sense. Sorry.
All right, let's move on here. Another question. This one coming from Rich Hilke. If it's that big of a conspiracy, then don't you think they, who are in control, would outlaw telescopes for the masses?
I think that I really don't think there's that much lying going on. I really don't. I'm not the conspiracy theorist here. I'm not that guy that thinks that everybody's lying to everybody. But I do think that if there's money involved, then there's always going to be liars, okay? So I think, though, now we're in a day and age where that sort of conspiracy stuff is ending because there's too many watchdogs, all right? I think what's happening now is they're releasing the truth, but they're not chasing you down to give it to you. They're making you get the truth on your own, but they're not stopping you from getting it. And they're also not going to help you get it. So if you want the truth, you have everything you need to do it, okay? I mean, look, they've even started, admitting that there was UFOs. I mean, it wasn't a great report. We all knew it was going to be crap, but sorry, was that a bad one?
No, you're okay with crap.
Okay. We all knew it wasn't going to be a great report, that UAP report that was released by Congress. I'm sorry, who was it released by? Was that Congress or was it?
It was released by the Department of National Intelligence.
There we go. Okay. Because it wasn't very intelligent. So, but it was just bland. It didn't give us many answers. We knew it wasn't going to, but the videos they showed us were mind-blowing. I'm not going to lie. Those were real videos, and that stuff isn't easy to catch, okay? I was very impressed by that stuff, at least the videos. And I do believe that those videos were 100% real. I just don't think we live in that day and age anymore, guys. I'm sorry. I don't, I'm the kind of guy that likes to think that people don't want to lie to you. I really do. I'm very naive in that way. And, I just keep it at, I trust people until they give me a reason not to, I guess. And so I'm naive. Maybe I'm a little stupid. Sorry.
On that note, we are going to go to break here at the bottom of the hour. Continue
right.
The moon, continue the earth. Are they holographic? Or are they made of cheese? Are they really what we are seeing here on a daily and nightly basis? The earth feels real. At least under my feet it does. We'll see where we go. Anthony Saporito from the Boogeyman channel on YouTube and forthewoke.com. We'll be back with more Spaced Out Radio right after this. All right, we're clear.
How many minutes?
We got 5.
All right.
I'm having fun. It's entertaining, man. Very entertaining. Fabster. Why would you time out Gail? I mean, Gail, not Gail. Lynn. Why would you do that? We had to get your wrench removed there for a minute. Gee whiz. Bad Fabster. But old Lindster has her own wrench now. Now we're going to see what happens. We're going to see what happens.
Got an occasion that's worth a celebration? Well, nothing says celebration like flowers from ProFlowers. Surprise your special someone with brilliant bouquets starting at just $19.99 plus shipping and handling from ProFlowers.com. See website for details.
90 Day is going tropical on the new Discovery Plus original series, Love in Paradise, the Caribbean. It's a vacation love story where sun, surf, and seduction collide. 4 Americans are traveling back to the exotic islands where they hope their sexy romances can turn into forever. Love in Paradise, the Caribbean, a 90-day story. Streaming now only on Discovery Plus. Start your free trial. Terms apply.
I now have 6 waters I've killed already. Gosh, I can't get enough of it.
I'm going to ask one favor. I don't know if you're noticing or not.
Okay.
But your hand keeps hitting your desk. And
sorry.
your mug keeps hitting the desk. I gotta get you to watch it because it's starting to affect our audio. If
I'm
you don't
so
mind.
sorry. Okay.
Yeah, that's okay. That's all right. We got a few guys who'll do that. Oh.
I talk with my hands. I'm Italian. That is my only excuse.
All right, 1 second here. Thanks, Vinster. All right, it's that time again, the night again, where we're going to bring out the Mighty Moose Beard Oil. Gary the Dutchman from MightyMooseBeard.com sends me this. It's good stuff. We're using the winter blend here. Now, if you know Dutch people like I do, the one thing that they hate is giving everybody a deal. They do. All right? But we've convinced Gary the Dutchman that if you use promo code SOR 2019, you're going to get a deal when you purchase for Mighty Moose Beard Oil. Nice and simple. Just use the squeeze bottle. Put it into your hand like so. Put that back so you don't spill. Then just massage it in. That's it. Just massage it into your nice facial hair. And by the way, you still got some on your hands. What do? You don't wash your hands. You put it into your hair. You put it into your hair. Yeah, it gives you a nice sheen to the follicles on top of your head. Yeah, you don't waste it. See, that's what Dutch people are good for. They don't waste anything. So if it doesn't work, if you got some hair but you don't have a beard, you can get this. This is good for ladies too, by the way. Go to mightymoosbeard.com. All the funds are in Canadian. All the prices are in Canadian dollars. So that way, you can get your bottle of Mighty Moose beard oil right there, nice and cheap for you Americans because our dollar's worth shit. All right. So yeah, take advantage of really, really pissing off a Dutchman by going to MightyMooseBeard.com, ordering up some beard oil, which can be used for your hair. It's no chemicals, by the way. It's all natural. Gary makes it himself. All right? And he's a good dude. So go check him on out. MightyMooseBeard.com, one of our sponsors. Stuff smells great. Fantastic. All right. And who doesn't like to mess over a Dutchman anyways? Seriously. It's true. Every time I see Gary, I put him against the wall and pat him down. He's like, "What the hell are you doing?" I said, "I'm looking for your first dollar, Dutchman." Then he shows me. I'm not even going to tell you where he keeps it. Thank you to Vinster, to T-Burger, Jeremy, Steve in Australia, Andrew, Backspin, Joshua, YJ, Michael, Jennifer, and Kat for the super chats. Really appreciate it. Here we go with the second half of the show. Second half of Spaced Out Radio is now underway. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. Really do appreciate earning your listening ears. Want to remind you that if you miss portions of this show or others, check out our free archives by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. We continue on tonight talking about Earth, the moon. Are they holograms? Are you a hologram? Am I a hologram? Are we just living in a holographic universe? Checking it out tonight, breaking it all down, Andrew Saporito, who's an amateur astronomer. He also has the Boogeyman channel on YouTube, along with his website, the number 4thewoke.com. So 4thewoke.com, using the number 4. And a quick shout out to our YouTube listeners right now who are tuned in the chat room. By the way, the chat room's moving really fast. I ended up losing a lot of the questions that you guys have for our guest. So if you have the opportunity to repost those, we would really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much for doing so. And Andrew, thank you so much for coming on, man. Welcome back.
It's my pleasure. Can I tell you a quick story really quick, though?
Does it involve my hair?
No, but you know what? I do want to smell it.
My hair's great. I'm not going to lie.
Okay, so one night, me and my wife are walking our dog, okay? Now, I was noticing something at first. I was noticing that every time I was starting to take a picture of the sky, that before the clouds would start to, like, morph, and they'd either morph into, like, let's say, like an old pirate ship, or they'd morph into, like, a demonic face or anything. It didn't matter. Before that would happen, I would always get these repeating squares, all right, on my LCD screen on my camera. And I was having a conversation with a friend, and I was telling him about it. Say, hey, have you ever seen this? Do you ever get those repeating squares on your LCD screen right before there's about to be a hologram of sorts, right? And he was like, no, that never happened to me, blah, blah, blah. He's a tough guy, whatever. And he just never likes to agree with me. So one night we're out walking our dog, and I was like, I was trying to make it happen because it happens a lot. And it did. So I raised my camera. I'm recording this cloud and a little bit of the moon. And all of a sudden, I start to get this repeating square background. Now, we'll get to that later. But the point is, as I was doing it, I was just being silly. And I was started to make, I was doing an impression of Arnold Schwarzenegger. I don't know why. I was just joking around. But I'm shooting this video, and I'm talking like Arnold Schwarzenegger. And I'm like, don't you see it, ba? It's got these repeating squares and things like that. But it was much dirtier, so I can't play it here. But what happened was, as me and my wife were talking about it, I ended up playing the video back, and I'm listening to my voice, and I'm listening to the cicadas. And every time I get to a point on this recording, a lightning strike comes out of the sky. And I'm like, impossible the two are related. Impossible. So I play it again. Same time. Lightning strike. Like, okay. Stupid. Whatever. So then I start playing it too much, okay? And it's not happening, all right? It seemed to be weaker, all right? Like if I played it too many times in a row, the lightning wouldn't happen, right? Or it would just go like, it would just be a flash. There wouldn't be an actual lightning bolt, right? Now at this point, I'm not telling my wife anything because I didn't think there was anything to tell her. Well, then I sat there for a few minutes and I'm like listening again. This time I'm like, okay, I'm going to wait. I waited like 2 minutes. And then I held it up to the sky this time. And I was like, all right, if it goes off this time, I got to get my wife's attention on this. I got to show her. It did it. I did it 5 times in a row, okay? I had to wait like a minute in between, but every time I played this recording from my cell phone, a lightning bolt would strike from the sky. And I was like, this is insane. This can't be real. It got to the point, I told my wife, I'm like, okay, here's what's going on. Every time I play this recording, lightning is striking. And she's like, no, it's not. You're stupid. You know the kind of reaction you would get. You're crazy. Let me see.
I get that from Lynn Wallington, my weekend host, every day.
You know how it is, man. So she plays it, and sure enough, what do you know? Lightning strike. But then she wanted to see it again really fast. She was like, hold on, let me do it again. This time, it was weaker because she played it too fast, in what do you call that? In conjunction. And so I said, no, you got to wait. You have to play it, but I think you have to wait like a minute or two and play it again. It got to the point where we were hearing whatever it was winding up and almost like recharging itself. All right. And this is all on video. This is another thing that you can see if you go to our YouTube channel. Okay. It's called Boogie Makes Lightning. And it's hilarious. First off, it's a really funny video. All the videos we play are really funny. I mean, because this stuff is so ridiculously crazy that it can't be real. So we got to have fun with it. You know what I mean? And it's like, and so I always try to keep a really open mind and a light heart. And I like to joke around. So if you ever come to our channel or our website, be prepared. I always say, come with an open mind, an open heart, an unbiased opinion, or don't come at all. Okay? Because it's just the way you have to treat this stuff. You are going to learn things that you didn't think you could ever learn. You're going to relearn the world around you. you are going to throw away everything you thought you knew about the world. You're going to throw it all away. I promise you this, because it's happened to, 25,000 people now already. All right. And I have a feeling it's going to happen to you too. Now, I'm not saying that in a cocky manner. I'm saying that because I too am relearning all the things I thought I knew. Okay. I entered this with an open mind and an unbiased opinion. And I'm still learning new things every day. Like, I have a recording that can make lightning. Explain that to me, please. All right? Not only that, but I have another recording that can make wind gusts. And I found that one just messing around with a very simple app on called the Frequency Generator. And if you play at 10,000 megahertz, really loud, the wind starts blowing really hard. Didn't know that one. Things are very strange. Now, Tesla told us if you want to understand the universe, you got to think in terms of frequency and vibration. Now, I agree with him partially, but he left out light, right? A lot of people are going to tell you that light is frequency. I disagree. I think frequency is a type of light, not the other way around. Okay? And so we've gotten into a part of our research called Sky Dome Atlantis. Okay? Now, this is going to be a shocker to you guys, but this is the coolest thing you're going to ever see if you come to our channel. Okay? I promise you this. This is going to be the hook. One of the people asked me if I knew anyone that worked at like a government agency or something that fed me information, right? Well, I got using a technique, a photography technique called the Centelli method. All right, there's a Centelli method. Basically, it is a convex lens instead of a concave lens, all right? And in that switch, for some reason, I can't explain it, you are able to see other dimensions. Now, this is scientifically proven stuff. You can look this up yourself. It is called the Centelli telescope method. Unfortunately, it was invented by or founded by a Jesuit astronomer working for the Vatican. All right, you can't make this stuff up. All right. Well, this Vatican astronomer called Dr. Centelli, who was a physicist, he created. He didn't create it. He discovered it. A telescope technique that all he did was turn a lens around. That's all he did. So instead of the lens going this way, he made it go this way. That's it. All right, very simple. But that switch, that one switch, allows you to see into other dimensions. Okay? And I'm not kidding. It works. And it's wild. All right? And so we call it shooting the dome, all right? Because what we did, we all, and when I say we all, a lot of my really good friends, and they're in here right now, T-Burger, I saw Raina Jennings, I can't remember who else was in here, sorry. But there was a lot of us. We got together, and we discovered a way, because of there was this woman, her name was Ada. She had been visited by God, she said, during a dream, and he told her to take a half-dome glass paperweight, put it on top of a, what are those called, those magnification beauty mirrors, and then put both of those inside of a black bowl, to cut down on the horizon noise, and he told her, then just start taking pictures of it. She didn't understand why, but for some reason, she was led to my channel and to me. All right. And so she shared this information with me, and I shared this information on our channel with everyone. So we all worked together, and everyone started using this technique, and everyone was catching the most amazing things, and we still do. I personally caught a Nephilim, if you know what that is. That is a giant riding on the back of a sun simulator, okay? So
hold on. What's a sun simulator?
It is a fake sun. I talked about it a little bit earlier before. There are multiple suns. They're not all fake, but one of them, at least one of them, is fake. And we call it the sun sim or sun simulator. It literally is a huge LED light, and it works with a lot of different moving parts. It uses lens arrays. It uses mirror relay systems. It uses all sorts of stuff that I cannot explain to you. I do not know how it works 100%, but I'm trying to learn, because every time I look at it, I learn something new. Now, you can look this up yourself. You can search for NASA Sun Simulator patent. You'll find that this is 100% real. It's patented. It's been in the sky for many, many years, probably since the 1960s. That was the first, in 1965, I believe it is, was the first sun simulator patent. Now, of course, patents aren't always being used, but this one is, all right? And we know it's being used because we have very good photos of it, very good videos of it. And now NASA is putting out another sun simulator, 6 of them, okay? Japan, was it Japan? No, China just put out a holographic, a fake moon, because they wanted to add more light at night because of the smog problem they have. Well, if they put one out and they were openly honest about it, and this is a communist country, well, how many fake moons do you think America put out?
Well, can we really trust anything from China? No offense, China, if you're listening, don't shut us down. You know,
No.
but
They put out, I mean, you can literally look at videos from start to finish of them building this fake moon simulator in China, and even taking it out into space and voila, releasing it.
But the only reason why they were doing that is because of the smog content, so people could actually see what the sun and the moon actually look like. That's the reason why they were doing it.
That is probably true, yes. Not going to argue that. And that is a really funny point. But,
No, that there's some truth to that. I got buddies who
100%.
live in China who told me that.
No, that's exactly what I was going to say as well. I'm sure that's probably why they did it, honestly. But my point is, though, is if they were that open and honest about it, I just have this strange feeling that there's other countries that have done the same thing. You know what I mean? I mean, there's just a lot of weird things happening in our world. There's things that people want to create just to say they did it. I mean, look at CERN, for God's sakes. I mean, CERN is a very strange place. Now, they have a lot of strange stories. Now, my opinion, they're just stories, okay? Other people don't have that same opinion. Other people believe every story that comes out of CERN, and that's fine. Everyone is entitled to their opinion. Everyone is entitled to hate CERN or love CERN, hate NASA, love NASA, you know, those kind of things. But, oh, man, I don't know. I guess what I'm getting at is that NASA is openly releasing 6 new sun simulators. And they're actually showing more proof on this than they ever showed on the ISS. Because if you go back in time and you try to find information.
It's my daughter's having a sleepover with 5 of her friends, but I know just the place to go to get something for everybody and just a little something for myself too meal. There's a meal for every moment on the McDonald's $1, $2, $3 menu.
Like a 4 for $4 deal. Get a McDouble and add 4-piece chicken McNuggets, small fries, and a medium soft drink for $4. Prices and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with combo meal.
Got an occasion that's worth celebrating? Well, nothing says celebration like flowers from ProFlowers. Surprise your special someone with brilliant bouquets starting at just $19.99 plus shipping and handling. Yes, top quality, fresh from the farm blooms that are perfect for any and all occasions are only $19.99 for a limited time at proflowers.com. Don't wait till the last minute to send that anniversary or birthday surprise. Shop proflowers.com and make their day with a bright bouquet. See website for details.
About the International Space Station, like when it was built and how they built it and, who built it. It's not the easiest information to find. Like, I'm not sure if it was like supposed to be, some sort of high security clearance type project or something, but there's not a lot of info on it out there. It's a very strange thing. There's a lot of arguments about it too, whether it's real or if it's a hologram. How does it work? Because the official story about things like the Hubble Space Telescope and the International Space Station are that they both travel at 17,500 miles per hour. Now, does anyone know how fast the average high-velocity bullet travels? Would anyone like to guess?
It's about 2,900 miles an hour.
Let's try 1,500.
Okay.
So that means it's going 17 times faster than a high-velocity bullet? I mean, I'm no good at math. I suck. So I probably just blew that one. But is that possible? I mean, like, if a napkin were to be somehow out in space and they ran into it, that could easily tear right through anything. I mean, that's insane. But my point is, they're telling us that they're putting out fake suns and they're making fake moons. So is it even anything to argue about anymore or even debate? I mean, they're telling us they're making them. They're showing them. We're paying for it, $60 million a day is the budget at NASA. $60 million a day is a lot of money. And they want to go to places like Mars. But why? I mean, what's wrong with Earth? Is it really that bad? I can breathe. I'm fine. I don't have a respirator on. I've traveled quite a lot all over the world. I lived in Japan. I've lived in America. I've been to every state in the United States in a car. Sorry, it was a gas guzzler. I've never owned a electric automobile. But I was always surprised at how many people there weren't here. I never felt like it was too crowded. I never felt like, my gosh, there's just so many people here. We can't ride. Now, the only place I feel that at is here in my hometown of Los Angeles, California. But it's not the people, it's just the cars. Anyway, I don't want to get off topic. If anyone has any questions, ask me something.
We've surpassed about 68 questions, but that's okay. And I was scrolling up here to find one. And Nikki is asking, how tall was the Nephilim you saw, and exactly what did it look like? What color was it? Okay. It looked like a regular person, all right? It had large curly hair, kind of like a fro. He looked Middle Eastern, but he was humanish. I would say he looked just like a human. Now, I don't know how large the actual sun simulator is, but I want to imagine that it is large. I want to imagine it's at least
half a mile in diameter. I'm sorry. Diameter is measurement from end to end, right? Circumference is the whole way around. Is that right?
Sure.
Okay. So diameter. All right. So let's say in diameter, it is, I want to think it's about a half a mile. And he's standing on it, and he's got his arms draped on either side. So he's a big dude, man. I mean, I'm talking big. Now, you can look in the Smithsonian archives, okay? You can do searches for some old stories that they have about some of the discoveries that they've made about giants that they've recovered, all right? Giants skeletons, okay? This is a trippy one. So one of the real good ones they have, it starts out with some really uninteresting giants. At first, it's like, we have a 7-foot tall one. Then we got a 6-foot tall one, a few 6-foot tall ones, a few 7-foot tall ones. You're like, get to the point. Where's the giants? Then they talk about this one giant, okay? They don't even really give an accurate measurement of him, but the measurement in between your ear and your eye, okay, is about 4 inches. They said on this skull that they had in the Smithsonian that the measurement between the eye and the ear was 36 inches.
And on that note, I'm going to get you to stop right there because we are going to go to break here at the top of the hour. We have Andrew Saporito here for another 30 minutes on Spaced Out Radio. What kind of woo can he bring to us the next half hour? I'm loving this so far tonight. ForTheWoke.com is his website. Boogeyman channel on YouTube. We'll be back right after this on Spaced Out Radio. Andrew, I'm just going to run my dogs outside. I'll be right back, okay? All right. I got you on mute. I am back. River Dogmo Pitbull, welcome to the show. All right. Let's see what's going on here. All right. And we got 1 minute.
Okay.
Big thank you to Apollo, to Vinster, T-Burger, Jeremy, Ozzy Steve, Andrew, Backspin, Joshua, YJ, Michael, Jennifer, and Kat for the amazing super chats tonight. Thank you so much for the support of this show. We really do appreciate it. Really appreciate all of our new subscribers who have signed up and hit that bells to know that we are here literally 7 days a week. I'm here Monday through Friday. Lynn Wallington is here on Saturdays and Sundays. If you have any guests that you would like to see, go to bookings.com/ or bookings at spacedoutradio.com. There we go. We got that one. All right. Stick with me through the break at the bottom, and then we'll go from there. Here we go.
Would you like to connect with us? Head to spacedoutradio.com for all your latest show info. Now, back to Dave Scott and SOR.
Here we go with the third and final hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. We really do appreciate earning your listening ears wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. We welcome back everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America and digitally on TalkStream Live, Revolution Radio, and KPNL. All of our archives are free by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club, Macaradant. Macaradant is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. For the final time tonight, we introduce Andrew Saporito. He is from a great YouTube channel called, what is it called? Boogeyman Channel. There it is. And his website, forthewoke.com. That's the number 4, thewoke.com. Check it on out. And we're talking Hollow Earth, weird planets, weird moon. And, hey, this is where we are. We're rolling with it tonight. Andrew, welcome back, man.
Thank you. I have another story for you if you don't mind.
Let me get to a question here first, if you don't mind.
All right, let's do that.
All right. So a lot of your findings on your own have come from the research that you have found. It goes well against what mainstream science has been saying for literally hundreds of years. Now, look, I'm a conspiracy theorist. I go to bed in tinfoil every single night. Okay, I can admit that. Nobody really knows that, but I do. You can't do a show like this unless you got, some tinfoil around. So my question for you is this. Regarding the science that has been studied for literally hundreds, if not thousands of years, and since technology over the last 500 years has improved, how can you sit here and go against the grain against so much of it, right? Like I said, I'm a proud conspiracy theorist, but, I do believe that science, for the most part, outside of maybe Neil deGrasse Tyson and UFOs, has the best interest in what humanity is trying to do to move forward.
All right. Well, first off, let me start out by saying I, too, believe in the technology, all right? And I use it to my advantage. They literally – all right, let's take Soho. stereo ahead, stereo behind. That's 2 satellites. One is in front of the sun. One is behind the sun. Okay, thus the name stereo ahead and stereo behind. You can see this for yourself. It shows real time every day. But the problem is there is one part. All right, it shows. Let me try to describe it for you. It shows the sun, the Earth, Venus, Mars, and up to, I think, just up to Mars. It's Mars, our moon, Earth, and then, just Mercury and Venus. And then it shows something we're supposed to assume is the sun, okay? But on the other side, opposite of the sun, there is an area that has been blacked out, and it's constantly blacked out. They won't tell us what it is. Nobody seems to know what it is. No one seems to even care that it's blacked out. It's the strangest thing. Well, a few times they forgot to block it out, and people have caught them in their mistakes. And what you saw was something stranger than fiction. I mean, it was almost entities and light that had information in it. It was almost like a telegram that was being sent to Earth and from another place, and you could almost read the information. It was like a letter in a bottle, and it's very strange. And it shows even the planets on a daily basis that the Earth. It supposedly shows the Earth at both sides. It's got one side is, the dark area. The other side is the light area. Unfortunately, though, it's square, and you can see this for yourself. This is on the website, the Soho website. It's on there every day. You can see every photo. I'm not making this up. This is something you can verify for yourself. The planets that they show. The moon is absolutely flat. The Earth is square-shaped. What are some other things? I mean, there's just serious weird things on this Soho website. And it's stuff that you would not have made up. And, I mean, it's not stuff that you would even dreamed of. I mean, as a conspiracy theorist, I mean, you can... I don't know how to put it. It's just very strange. And there's even sometimes that there's humongous UFOs out there. The same UFOs, that are described in Ezekiel's wheel. That big, huge circle that you see in almost every sci-fi movie. I mean, sometimes you see stuff like that just floats from left to right in front of the screen. I mean, it boggles the mind. I just don't get it. So I'm not discrediting anyone because our only source to the heavens at this point are our space agencies. You just have to get really good at figuring out what's the truth and what's the lies because they mix them in together. There's a lot of truth that they tell you, but there's also a lot of lies that they tell you. And I think I would like to think that I got pretty good at guessing which one is the truth and which one is the lie so far. But, I'm not discrediting anyone. I think, like I said, everyone that works at NASA is the best at their job. I think they go there. They do exactly what they're told. I think they do a really good job at it. And as far as the information is concerned, any time that there is money involved in research, someone is going to tell that beneficiary what they want to hear. Okay?
I get that. And I also understand that money is on the line, from grants to, college peer reviews to tenures at universities. So, look, UFOs is a perfect example of where we're losing a lot of brilliant scientists from looking into the field because they do not want to be looked at as a wingnut going after aliens and spacecraft. Okay?
Exactly.
And somebody like Avi Loeb from Harvard is really putting his own neck on the line by supporting that theory. However, for a lot of this, whether it's the moon or the sun or anything that kind of goes along, I mean, what you're saying goes against a lot of the traditional...
Keeping your pet happy and healthy. That's what Chewy is all about, which is why we offer veterinary diets, prescriptions, even compounded medications customized for your pet, so you can get what they need to feel good. Shop America's #1 pet pharmacy. Visit Chewy.com today.
Got an occasion that's worth a celebration? Well, nothing says celebration like flowers from ProFlowers. Surprise your special someone with brilliant bouquets starting at just $19.99 plus shipping and handling from ProFlowers.com. See website for details.
Scientific theories and study over centuries that really wouldn't make any sense in covering it up for this entire time. It's the argument I have with a lot of flat earthers who believe that everything that science has been doing the last half a millennia has been to screw people over. It just doesn't make sense.
Absolutely. And let me just end it like this. I'm not telling anyone anything that you hear here tonight. I'm not telling you that I am 100% correct. I'm not telling you that this is law, that this is accurate. I'm just telling you that I'm a guy with a lot of cameras and a lot of telescopes, and I catch a lot of weird stuff. And that weird stuff, I catch it so much that it feels to me that this is the story it's telling me. This is the science that it's laying out for me. I could be incorrect. On a lot of times, I am incorrect. I've been incorrect many times. But at the same time, I knew about a lot of things before NASA talked about it. I knew that there were, it was like how a Kentucky university found 12 new moons around Jupiter. Now, how does a Kentucky university find 12 new moons around Jupiter when NASA supposedly has had satellites around Jupiter for the last 40 years? How did they just look past 12 moons? I mean, that's kind of weird to me. And somehow a ground-based telescope, which wasn't that big, was the one that found it. I mean, that's just one thought. Another thought is the Hubble Space Telescope, okay? There you can find anything in the sky. Now, how is it that the Hubble Space Telescope took a picture of the moon and it was not as clear, not as close, and nowhere near the quality of the pictures that I got of the moon? Now, how is that possible? So it's I think there's a lot of things that are just being looked past as well as, in this conversation. There's a lot of people that just, they assume that NASA has these humongous observatories when they really don't. They assume that things like the Hubble are really technologically advanced, but you'd be shocked to find out it has an 8-inch mirror in it. That's it. 8 inches. My telescope, the one right here you're looking at, has 12 inches. So why? It's just strange. Now, if you know anything about astrophotography, the #1 rule about it is you can't move the camera. You can't move the telescope. Why? Because it'll just be blurry and junky and you won't be able to use it. So tell me how something's traveling at 17,500 miles an hour, but somehow it's taking crystal clear photos in the dark? No way. No way. So for them to tell a lie that big, what other lies are they telling that's big? Have you ever heard of the Sophia?
No. Explain it to me.
The Sophia is actually the Hubble. It's a telescope that's on a Boeing 747. And the thing is, no one's ever heard of it. But every photo, if you look at the metadata on every Hubble Space Telescope image, you will find that it was actually taken by the Sophia and not by the Hubble Space Telescope. I can find the raw and deck, the location of every entity in the heavens, but I've never found the Hubble Space Telescope. I can't find it. I've never taken a picture of a satellite. I can't find one, and I can't find the Hubble Space Telescope. So there's a lot of things I think we assume that we're so technologically advanced that how could a dummy like me be, finding these things out when they've probably already been known for so long, but in reality, we just were assuming the work got done, but it never did. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. It's just a guess. It's my best answer. But, I'm not cocky about the stuff. I want everyone to know I don't know how much of my work is correct. I can't go to the moon and check. I can't go out and fly into the stars and tell you that it's actually just a stage light with a lens in front of it. I am stuck here on the ground just like everyone else. So all I can do is speculate. But I can speculate pretty good. You know what I'm saying? But, that's why I try not to sell my stuff as reality. I want you guys to know that. What I'm doing is I'm doing my best, okay? I'm showing you what I'm catching. I call it the strangeness. That's it. I'm not going to ever tell you that this right here, this is the truth, and everyone else is lying. You're not going to hear that from me. I'm going to stay humble. I'm going to keep an open mind because tomorrow, what I just shot the day before, I might never be able to shoot again, or I might shoot something that just destroys what I just captured the day before. I don't know. Next question, Dave. Sorry.
Oh, not a problem. As we continue on here on Spaced Out Radio, we have Andrew Saporito here for another 7 minutes here. A lot of rumblings here regarding your own research and the way you are doing things. How are you comparing your information to what the scientific books say?
Well, actually, what I use is patents, physics, white papers. I will use sky surveys in order to compare to. I actually use a lot of other astronomers, backyard and professional. I see what they caught and how it compares to what I've caught, and see if there's anyone else out there that has caught any anomaly close to what I've captured. And if they have, let's talk. You know what I mean? Let's try to figure this thing out together. So other people, communication, and, peer-reviewed papers, you can't, they're priceless. They really are, if they're real. There's a lot of peer-reviewed papers out there that could be fake. There's, let's face it, money rides everything. And so what I do is if I catch something that I feel is worth the time of other people, first thing I'm doing, I'm sending it off to as many people as humanly possible. I need a lot of eyes looking at it. But before I do that, I first need to go and double check it. I check every star map. I will check every app that it calls itself a star map. I will go to the sorry, I always mess this one up. The International Astronomy, what is that? The AIS. Yes, the International Astronomy Society. Okay, anyway, moving on. I will check with them. They have a lot of white papers that are just open and you can download from them. I use physics papers. I use white papers. I use patents. I try to triple, quadruple check. I try to find out as much information as I can. Because a lot of times, if you're just not hip to something that you just took a picture of and you think it's an anomaly, well, a lot of times it's not. It just, that was a leaf or that was something that was, okay. And here's an example. We were at a national park. It was called Zion National Park. And there were these really weird pink like hairs growing out of the street. Okay. And I tried to pull them out. I tried to clip them out and cut them. I could not figure out what these things were, but they were pink and they had metal on the inside of them. They almost looked like wires, but they were growing like plants. And I'm like, what is this? So, of course, I with all my might, I got a nice sample of it on live. I was doing a live show one night on YouTube. I showed everyone, look, this is what I found. Does anyone know what this is? Evidently, it is something they put inside of blacktop in order to strengthen it. It's almost like fiberglass. So, yes, many times I look like a fool by asking the question. Because, you know, if you're not hip to something, if you don't know about something, it doesn't make it an anomaly. It just means that you're dumb, you know, or uneducated on the subject. Now, that works the other way, though. Just because you haven't heard of something or you're not hip to something doesn't mean it doesn't exist, and it doesn't mean that's not the way it really works. And so that's a good way to think, okay? And I try to teach that to a lot of people. When someone tells you about something or shows you something that you haven't seen before, just because you haven't seen it before, just because you haven't heard of it, just because you don't know about it, doesn't mean it's not real. It doesn't mean that it's a lie. It just means you didn't know about it. So just keep an open mind, keep an unbiased opinion, and you might just learn something. And that's it. That's all, you know? That's what I've been doing my entire time on YouTube and with our podcast. All I've been doing is learning. This entire journey of my whole thing here, I am learning so much. I came in here to try and learn more, and it's now flipping into a teaching situation, and I'm learning with certain people, and I'm teaching others, and it's just a beautiful thing. It really is. And, you know, I'm not great with words, but that's my answer.
My friend, we got about 90 seconds left with you tonight, and I want to say thank you so much for coming on Spaced Out Radio. Really appreciate you taking the time and giving an alternative opinion to what is going on up in the sky above us and on this planet. It's been a lot of fun. Appreciate you, Andrew. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. You can find me at the number 4, THEWOKE.com. That's forthewoke.com. While you're there, check out the blog. Stay up to date. You can find us on YouTube. That's the Boogie Man Channel. Boogie Man Channel. 3 words. Love you guys. Take care, and thank you so much for coming.
Really appreciate you doing that, man. And it's always fun to have a differing opinion and a differing thought base because, you know what? Hey, we're all allowed to expand. Keep up your work, and I really enjoyed this. It was a nice alternative.
Thanks for having me. Really, I mean that.
Oh, yay, definitely. And you know, we'll give credit to Alaska's greatest athlete, Emily Bigelow, for booking you tonight And
Emily. I love that woman. Thank you so much.
Yeah, she's pretty cool. She's pretty cool. I know she's probably sitting in her home right now clapping. Oh, Emily. Yeah, I'm teasing right now. I'm very much teasing right now, but we appreciate you. Thank you so much, Andrew Saporito, everybody. forthewoke.com is the website. Boogeyman channel on YouTube. Coming up next, we are going to be joined by Stetson John Hudson. We got the unbiased UFO report. We have the SOR Newswire from Captain Shirk and the thought of the day. Stay tuned. Spaced Out Radio continues right after this. Good job, man.
Thank you.
Great job.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate you coming on in.
Now I can finally start drinking. Jeez.
Oh, yeah. Go have a beer on us.
It's a good time for it. It really is. All right. So what do I do? Just check out. I'm done. Huh?
Check out. You're done, man. I also want to say thank you. You brought in a few new people to our chat room. I see a few of them hit the subscribe button. So
they gave money to you as well, man.
Yeah, and the super chats.
Good for you.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much.
No problem. Thanks for having me. If you ever want to have me back, I will be more prepared.
Oh, no problem. It was great. You take care.
Have a good night.
All right, man. There we go. Andrew Saporito. You know what I love about him? I'll tell you, because I kind of have the microphone. You know, whether you agree or not with him, the cool part about it is he's very passionate about his research. And when you have somebody who is passionate like that, you never know where it's going to go. And those are the type of people, when they show passion, sometimes they find something. Sometimes they find something that none of us are looking at because they're looking at things from a completely different perspective. And that is what is cool. That is what is really cool. So, there we go. John Hudson, Stetson's looking good tonight.
Good to see you, Dave.
Good to see you. Turn your mic up a little bit here.
I can get a little closer, too.
And there we go. All right, wrenches, do your job. Look like we got a troll coming on in here. Just bear with me here, dude.
I won't let it go to my ego, attracting trolls. Got to be some honor.
Yeah. Hit him right off the bat. Lockbeard, I don't know if you saw, but I got your other profile unlocked. And do my wrenches, just remember to report the posts and then don't time them out for 30 seconds. Just remove them completely if you don't mind. All right.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
Mr. Kruger is in true form.
Well, it's idiotic.
Especially at this point in history.
Oh, it's not people, it's computers that are doing that, So, yeah. All right. Mennonite Abe is asking if you watched the Jeremy Corbell thing today.
I only saw clips of it myself, but I read some stuff up on it, and Alpha Check did a fantastic, tight synopsis of it. that
Right.
that helped me out.
Yeah.
Oh, keep your hats from getting stiff. So my dryer has a steam fresh setting where you put some water in it, and instead of drying your clothes, it actually steams them. It's for like dry clean clothes that you can't take to the dry cleaners. So I basically put my hat in there on a rack, and it basically steam freshens the hat.
Nice. I got to try that.
It also really stays your clothes because then you're not taking them to the dry cleaner all the time.
That's cool. All right, we got about 30 seconds here.
So what's interesting is most humans take actions based on a
We rounded third. We're heading for home tonight on Spaced Out Radio. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you so much for going on and coming in and listening to this show. We really do appreciate earning your listening ears. We want to remind you that if you've missed most of this show or others, check out our free archives by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram, Spaced Out Radio Show. It is now time for the unbiased UFO Report. This is where we bring in our UFO reporter, Stetson John Hudson, to give us all the UFO news of the day as we try and keep caught up with all the big news, because, you know, UFOs are still in the front line, not only here on this show, but around the system as well, the system of the media. John, welcome back, man. Good to have you here.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm happy to be here. Just a quick comment. It's funny because when I first got into this, you'd only get a story every couple of weeks. It was really leisurely. Now, it's incredible.
It's the my daughter's having a sleepover with 5 of her friends, but I know just the place to go to get something for everybody and just a little something for myself too meal. There's a meal for every moment on the McDonald's $1, $2, $3 menu.
Like a 4 for $4 deal. Get a McDouble and add 4-piece chicken McNuggets, small fries, and a medium soft drink for $4. Prices and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with combo meal.
Got an occasion that's worth a celebration? Well, nothing says celebration like flowers from ProFlowers. Surprise your special someone with brilliant bouquets starting at just $19.99 plus shipping and handling from proflowers.com. See website for details.
Incredibly hard to keep up.
All right. Let's start off with this, man. Who is Chad Underwood?
So Chad Underwood is, in many ways, a figure like Alex Dietrich, in that he came out in small amounts at earlier stages, but only in very limited situations, primarily because he too was still active duty. And so there had never been an actual full interview of him where you actually got to see his face. I mean, we'd gotten quotes from him. There'd certainly been little snippets here and there, but this was the first time that someone actually had a chance to really sit down with him and have a full-on conversation with the guy that, let's face it, took the video that might end up fundamentally changing the course of history.
So, how is he tied to UFOs?
So, I mean, essentially, he was the weapons. Basically, most of these planes, have a primary pilot and a co-pilot. And the co-pilot takes care of all sorts of operational things, targeting and sort of things, and also manages the FLIR pod, the weapons pod on the bottom of the plane. And so he was actually the one that actually recorded the footage of the Tic Tac. So he is the actual person who filmed, one of the most famous, pieces of footage in history so far.
Oh, wow. So he got the original recording of the Tic Tac that we hear the pilots talking in the background.
Well, the ones where we hear the pilots talking in the background, where they're like, "Oh, look at the thing! Oh, there's a squad of them off." That's actually the gimbal. But the original Tic Tac, where you just see the white object, I don't. There was some talking. That's right. There was some talking. God, let's watch so many versions of that. But the original Tic Tac video from 2004. This is the guy that actually took that footage.
Very cool. So, what's his stance on the UFO phenomena then?
Well, I mean, he is. I really like how he tends to play this, because he's very, very specific on the points of why this is so abnormal and why this is so different and why this doesn't fall into any previous data sets of recognized behavior out of machines. He talks about the jamming aspects of it. He talks about the ability of this, the slave radar and being able to actually catch the FLIR footage. He talks about and I just want to give a quick nod to not only to Jeremy for doing this, but for a user by the name of AlphaCheck who did some good synopsis of this today. And essentially, my read off of him is essentially, he's not saying it's definitely a UFO. He's not saying it's definitely aliens. He's not saying anything of the sort. He's definitely playing a careful line. But once again, like Alex Dietrich, he's basically pointing out, look, these are things that are incredibly abnormal, and these are the reasons why they are incredibly abnormal. And so he's a very, very good witness. He's a very strong witness, and he essentially, lays out some nice, facts and data points that kind of illustrate, what his experience was, and what about it got his attention in the process. Now, of course, I mean, it's been a long time now, and so they've all been talking about it for years. So it's not as good as having a fresh account of it. But I would argue that that he's every much as important of a figure in that encounter as Commander Fravor or Alex Dietrich.
How long did he serve for? Was this his only incident?
My understanding was that this was his own. Well, you know what? I take that back. I'm not totally sure on that. My understanding was that this was a unique incident for him, but I don't know if he said anything differently recently. And so it wasn't like what we saw before, where they talked about seeing it on a daily basis and that sort of thing. It's, and as far as I believe. Well, I mean, if he was. So he was active in 2004, and he only recently got out. This is someone who served for quite some time.
Interesting.
I mean, at least 15 years.
Interesting. All right, let's move on here to number 2, which is the Wilson documents resurfaced by somebody named Brit in Wonderland. Tell me about this.
So this is wonderful. I cannot more highly recommend that people go check this out, especially because she nails it all down in 8 minutes flat. And basically what she shows is that there was a law basically put into place that went into place in 2017. And what the law did was essentially take the DoD acquisition technology logistics organization and split it into two separate organizations. This happened in 2018. And what I can't go over in extreme detail for the sake of time, but I'll post the link to her video, and I encourage everyone to watch it. And I should note out that she passes off nods to James over at Engaging the Phenomenon, and as well as Frank Milburn, as far as people who helped her lock down the story, and she continues to do so. But basically, this bill was introduced to the floor by John McCain. And so the hypothesis that she puts forward is that the result of what Wilson experienced in the Wilson memo was likely experienced again by Elizondo and Mellon in the future, and that they very likely communicated that frustration to McCain, as well as all the other people that were involved at that point, and that it was possibly, and this is what she's trying to find evidence for, it was possibly a very clear tie that essentially this bill was introduced by John McCain and passed specifically to combat the challenges they were having with getting access to information about SAP programs, because what they discovered was a complete lack of oversight, which is what this bill is supposed to address. And so it's a very interesting hypothesis. She lays it out very cleanly, and she adds a bunch of other details that you'll catch when you watch her video. But it's a really cool, detailed take on the story that kind of ties a bunch of pieces together and brings a new light to what we're talking about.
Well, that's real interesting. I'm just surprised the Wilson documents keep coming up, John. For our audience who doesn't understand or know what we're talking about regarding the Wilson documents, take a minute or two here to quickly break those down.
Okay. So, and I can post links to these as well, because I got very irritated by the way they were getting shown. They were in like lots of different sheets. So I put them all together into individual PDFs, and so we can take a look. But specifically, the part that she's referring to is essentially it's a point by point recording, essentially, of a alleged meeting that Dr. Eric Davis, who we all know and love, had in a car with I forget what rank Wilson was at the time, but with Wilson, who was J2, when he did all this exploration. And essentially what the Wilson memo lays out is essentially the conversation that Wilson and Dr. Eric Davis had, where Wilson explains to Davis what he went through, the challenges he had, the pushback he got, the threats that he got, the information that he was given, and basically lays out, in it's the challenges, and the reason why you described it the way you did when you first asked me is it is a very, very difficult piece of material to digest.
Right.
It's one of the most shocking documents I personally think I've ever read. And so it's very hard to believe it. It's very hard to believe it. But over time, more and more people are standing up for it. More and more well-known, well-established people are standing up for it, and less of the holes getting shot through it are standing up to bear. And so, at this point, I'm as hard as this is for me to believe. At this point, I am leaning toward believing those documents are authentic. And one of the things that she points out in her little segment is that what she's uncovering is also further support for the fact that the Wilson documents are real.
All right. We have time for one more topic. Popular Mechanics did a great story on USOs. Start off by explaining to our audience what a USO is first.
Oh, yes. So for some reason, we had to start calling UFOs UAPs, but it's still okay to call something a USO, which I think is a little unfair. But essentially what it is it's an unidentified submerged object. So this is an object that basically comes out of the ocean or comes out of a lake. And we've been hearing reports of this forever. We've seen all sorts of photographs that no one knows if real or not of things coming out of the water. We've had numerous reports of things coming out of the water. Even Commander Fravor reported seeing something bubbling under the water in the Nimitz encounter. However, we've heard stories about submarines picking them up. We've heard stories about speeds, but it's all been very anecdotal. There has not been much hard evidence for it, even though it's pretty much a foregone conclusion for most researchers. And Popular Mechanics just went out there and just laid down very methodically a case for why USOs are real, and included both some witnesses they found as recently as 2017, and as well as going back to cases in the 60s. And so they laid out, I can't say that there was anything, any breaking news, that there was new tidbits that I think were unheard of in what they wrote, but it was a point blank. It was a brave article for them to write, and it was a good article for them to write, and it's a clean article, and it's well done, and it presents a good case, and hopefully what it does is it gets people to start feeling a little more comfortable talking about USOs, because it's kind of ridiculous that people still shy away from that but are willing to talk about the other.
You know what amazes me is these USOs seem to be taking off into the sky. So is there really a difference between UFOs and USOs if they seem to be able to go in any type of condition here on Earth?
Well, the fact that one of the 5 observables is specifically a transmedium ship, what that means is what you just said is exactly right. There is no distinction. You're not going to get unidentified vehicles that can only go in water and can't go or can only go in water and air but can't go into orbit, or can only go into air and orbit but can't go into water. And basically, if the hypothesis that many of us have that essentially there is a type of something akin to a warp bubble around this craft that gives them a different reference point from a relativity point of view, then essentially by masking it from inertia and masking it from all that activity, it should be able to go through atmosphere, air, or water, or to be very blunt, it should actually be able to go through solid objects.
For sure. John, big thank you for coming on the Unbiased UFO Report. Once again, if people want to check it on out, they can always check the replay on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. And John?
One quick thing. Tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, my apologies, where I'm going to be trying out something new, see how it goes. It'll be a live Twitter space where everyone will be invited to come in and basically talk about any of the different news articles that we talked about this week, or bring up others that maybe we didn't cover that you wish we did.
Interesting. Very, very interesting. John, thank you so much, and let me know about that. I'm going to want to attend that too. So make sure you check it out and put it in our Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/Spaced Out Radio. John, we'll talk to you in a couple nights.
Absolutely, sir. You have a good evening.
Let's get to the news, everyone. The news is always changing, which is why we bring you the SOR News Wire at the back end of every show, where we get to the weird, the strange, the wacky, and sometimes the scary. We were just hearing reports of an 8.1 earthquake happening in Alaska around Juneau, and we are trying to find more reports. And of course, the West Coast here, along with Hawaii, will be on tsunami alert. We will keep you up to date on everything that is happening with that as well. So let's just make sure that everybody is safe and sound, and make sure that, God, I hate earthquakes. Earthquakes and tornadoes scare me. And those big wind things, or hurricanes. Don't like those. Don't like those at all. I'll take forest fires where I am anytime over any other of those natural disasters. Seriously, 8.1. That is massive. Absolutely massive. All right, let's continue on with the news here. Hey, finally, a German court has ruled that women can't be excluded anymore from a traditional event in which fishermen compete to catch the biggest fish in a stream that runs through a Bavarian town. The state court in Memmingen said the group that organizes the town's Fischertag, or Fisherman's Day, must allow female members to participate in the climax of the annual summer event, which features people jumping into the stream with nets to catch trout. Whoever catches the biggest fish is crowned the Fisherman's King. About time women are allowed. It's fishing. Oh, I knew Captain Shirk would throw this one in. DNA analysis confirms that an eel-like creature pulled from a Florida canal 2 years ago is otherwise known as the penis snake. Yeah, this one has escaped the trousers into the canal and has since yielded several other specimens because it is horny and looking for love, leading to concerns that the non-native amphibian has taken root now in America. To our knowledge, this represents the first recording of a penis snake in Florida or anywhere else in the United States, declares the new research published in Reptiles and Amphibians. This 2-foot-long hammer specimen was captured by members of the Florida Fish and Wildlife Commission in Miami's Tamiami Canal, also known as the C4 Canal, back in November of 2019. Yeah, this thing's swimming. It's taken life. The penis fish, everyone. Or, pardon me, the penis snake. It's only up to Captain Shirk who would totally put that in there. By the way, we've been saying this on this show for a while. Religious and secular thinkers alike have discussed what the implications for religion would be if humans discovered intelligent life on other planets. In the United States, highly religious adults are much more skeptical about the possibility of ET life compared with those who are less religious. This is evidenced by a variety of measures of religious engagements. For example, U.S. Christians are far less likely than religiously unaffiliated Americans to say that their best guess is that intelligent life exists on other planets, 57% versus 80%. And U.S. adults who attend religious services on at least a weekly basis are considerably less than those who seldom or never attend services to say that ET life exists elsewhere, from 44% versus 75%. Telling you, we're in for a doozy here when this happens. And we'll get to this story here quickly. Angel? Alien or shapeshifter? New viral footage of some strange aerial phenomena is the choose-your-own-adventure story of the conspiracy theory hive right now. Video that first appeared in June on Facebook, a UFO, for a lack of a better term, was spotted by an air traveler against a clear blue sky backdrop with characteristics that looked more like a biology book, according to those who saw it. Yeah, so Neil Evans, whose channel Disclose Screen regularly publishes UFO sightings or bizarre phenomena, picked up the footage. This one has me stumped, he says. No clue what it is. And people are going to call this a UFO, Evans narrates in a voiceover, heard by over 42,000 on YouTube so far. Well, technically it is, but I'm leaning towards this being a biological entity or a plasma-based life form living in our upper atmosphere. Wow. That's a big assumption. Thank you to Captain Shirk for the SOR Newswire. Thank you to Stetson John for the unbiased UFO report. And to our guest, Andrew Saporito, for coming on in and talking about holograms. We got Mr. Ron Bumblefoot Thal rocking in the background with Little Brother is Watching. Bumblefoot is the official music of Spaced Out Radio, rocking us in and out of every single show. Get your horns up for the guitar god himself. Special thanks to everybody listening in at home, at work, in your cars, wherever you may be. Thank you to everyone checking us on out on YouTube, LGAB, Revolution Radio, Spreaker, Facebook, and on Twitter at hashtag Spaced Out Radio. Remember, this show is copyright by Spaced Out Radio and SOR Media Ventures Limited. Thank you so much for choosing to share your evening with us. Because together, my friends,
we're watching.
We own the night. Mr. Bumblefoot, we need a favor. We need you to take us home. Yes, the Woo Train has docked for the night, but soon, my friends, we shall ride again. Your seats are always available. Your tickets never expire. And if you want to bring a friend, we've got room for them too. Good night.
You're floating on a creamy peanut butter river in a chocolate raft. Is this paradise? This is what biting into a Think creamy peanut butter high protein bar feels like. Fuel your life, power your body. Think. Stand for strong.
Got an occasion that's worth a celebration? Well, nothing says celebration like flowers from ProFlowers. Surprise your special someone with brilliant bouquets starting at just $19.99 plus shipping and handling from proflowers.com. See website for details.